Welcome back to Obsession Engineering and the fast RS660 project, but we're not at the workshop today. We are at Black and White Bikes because it's time to do the last few running in miles on the Aprilia and then get it mapped to see how much horsepower we're making. Also worth noting, it is very cold today. We've had snow for the first time this year, but luckily I'm keeping warm in my Obsession Engineering bobble hat. So if you're a little bit cold at home, or a loved one of yours is cold and you want to care for them, pop onto the website at obsessionengineering.co.uk, get a bobble hat or a nice warm hoodie, and that will keep you toasty, keep your loved ones very happy. And if your loved ones are happy, they're going to be happy that you're playing with motorbikes more. With a load of runs done at the different throttle openings that the Power Commander wants to be mapped at, Paul is now going through the sheets and detailing the actual fuel map. And so the numbers on there are basically throttle opening versus RPM, and we're just putting correction values in it. And the Power Commander uses that to alter the amount of fuel it's injecting into the engine. And then bit by bit we get the air-fuel ratio nicer and nicer. And before you know it, we've got a bike that's lovely to ride, safe as houses, and fast. This is where the throttle is actually working on the bike, what the bike's actually doing, and so we're just keeping an eye on this to see when Paul goes to 100% throttle where the actual arrow goes, because it never goes straight to 100% throttle on fly-by-wire. So after several hours of mapping part throttles and of course full throttles, we've done a lot of work and we've made some quite nice improvements. And so we have three graphs on here and I'll talk you through them. The blue one is the one we started the day on, that's our first full throttle run. And it was okay, relatively smooth. But if we look at the air fuel readings, it's really quite lean in a few places. So that's going to be quite dangerous to ride on because it's just going to generate a lot of temperature inside the engine. The one we've got now, the red one that we've finished on, is nicely in there. The green line on the Dyno Pros is quite safe, and so we're relatively safe, nice in the middle, sort of 13, just a little bit richer in most of it, and so that's a good air-fuel ratio, and it's picked us up a fair chunk of horsepower there as well. So okay, on the dyno today, it only says 100 horsepower. And yes, Aprilia claim these bikes do 100 horsepower standard, but trust me, they really don't. And to put this into perspective, the same spec engine in my bike, we've had 109 horsepower on a different dyno on a different day of the week. All dynos vary. And so what we're looking for is an improvement over what we started with today. And really interestingly, this big green line is a Sport Bike Cup RS660. So basically, this is a standard engine bike. It is a little bit rich fueling, but the big difference here is 89 horsepower, 99 horsepower. This bike, from basically 7,500 RPM onwards, goes absolutely miles better than a standard engine bike. You're basically 10 horsepower better, all the way from 7.5 to 11.5, and on track that makes a massive difference. So yeah, possibly ignore the headline figures, look at the improvements, look how good the bike's going to ride. That is it. Job done on the dyno. With the Aprilia back from the dyno, we're into one of the very final jobs, which is fairing fitting. And you'd think putting an RS660 fairing on an RS660 would be nice and straightforward. You'd be wrong. Right, there's a few details that make it slightly awkward to get the fairing to fit the bike, and so I'm going to show you what those are, and then basically talk through how we're getting around them. seat unit is actually fairly straightforward. There's a support under there that bolts to the subframe, and then the seat unit just fits straight on, and it is a nice fit. This is a King carbon fairing, the same make that we use on our superbike, and so the quality is really nice, and it's nice and lightweight as well, which is always important. One of the games when you're fitting RS660 fairings though is the fairing, like, because it's moulded off a road bike, would normally be at this level, but because the handlebars on a road bike are up here, they'd miss everything. There's even the little noggin, like the little moulded bit there to miss the cruise control switch on the road bike. As you can tell, this stuff's miles lower. And so what you actually need to do is chop a load out here so that you've actually got some clearance to your handlebars. The other game is that we don't have the original clock bracket on. So there is some very, very faint marks in the fairing moulding where the original clock bracket would have mounted to the fairing, basically where the mirrors would have mounted. But we've not got that fairing bracket anymore. We've got the Gabbro one with the different air scoop. And so we've had to fit the fairing and basically hold it in a position we think is about right, and then mark the holes that we're going to drill in the fairing from the inside where the bolt holes are. So to try and get everything lined up, we need a start point. And basically the bolts halfway down the frame, they're going to be our datum. So we put the bolts in there, and then basically the whole fairing can pivot up and down around those bolts. So the nose cone needs to be far enough away from the mudguard that when the forks are completely compressed, the mudguard doesn't hit the fairing. So we've got the measurement for the fork travel, and then we've basically measured into that gap there, and if I push that up a bit, that's about where it fits. And then we just have to sort of get it central, so it sits central to the front wheel when the front wheel's when the steering's straight, and so it sits central to the clock bracket and everything. Now this is considerably easier with two people, so one person can hold it in place, the other person can mark the holes and do those bits, which is why Rob is helping me. And if I'm honest, because it's freezing cold, when I say Rob is helping, Rob's doing most of the work. I'm going in the office and pretending to do admin. Even though the fairing is no longer on the bike, it has been fitted. All the fasteners have been bolted in place. We've put riv nuts in the clock bracket. We've put the screen on it. The fairing is done, except it needs the air scoop hole cutting out. So what we've done is measured up from a point on the mudguard up to the bottom of the air scoop. And if I push the air scoop up to where it will bolt in position, that is 195mm. And then when we had the fairing on, before we took it off, we basically marked where the same position will be on the fairing. And the equivalent position on the fairing is basically in with the shape of the fairing at the bottom here and underneath the little sort of cutout there and bits. And so now what we need to do is get the Dremel and very carefully cut inside that line, inside the white line, basically cut around the sticker. The air scoop will then fit through the fairing, and then we need to put the fairing on and just trim the air scoop back far enough. It all sounds fairly straightforward, but as with anything that involves cutting, you're better off measuring twice and cutting once, because the other way around is a bit awkward. We have a hole that goes all the way into the airbox through the fairing, so that's important. What Rob's done, because I sat in an office where it was warm, basically marked it out, cut it out with the Dremel, and then little bit by little bit just trimmed a bit more back until the like the guide sort of edging fitted nicely, and then he's put the fairing on, slid the air scoop in, and then trimmed the air scoop down to actually fit the fairing. And now we have bodywork actually finished. So air scoop painted, so that's nicely fitting. We've gone around some of the trim areas and actually just finished it by hand with a bit of emery, because with Dremels you always end up with slightly ridged finish. So cleaned up some of the edges, made sure there's gaps between the frame and bits so it doesn't touch. Rain light is wired in. We made a little support for the back of the seat unit so it fits at the back of there. This is near enough done. There's just a couple of little details to do on it, and then it can go back to its owner, who hopefully will be very happy with his new motorbike. So that is the Fast RS660 project done, barring a couple of minor items. The frame covers are with the postie. Where the postie is, though, is a complete mystery, and the Dyno wheels for it are meant to be here in the next week or so, and so that will get it completely done. Little bit of paint thrown at it by the customer, and this thing is going to be awesome. I'm really hoping that I'll get a chance to ride this one back to back with mine. The engine specification is exactly the same as my bike, but this one has got a few differences in the chassis, different exhaust pipe, and this one's on K-Tech and I'm on Bitubo, and so it'll be really interesting to ride the pair of them back to back and see where the differences are. If you'd like any of the parts you've seen fitted to this bike, or you'd like us to build you a race bike, get in touch with us through the contact page at obsessionengineering.co.uk. And that is it for the Aprilia, so thank you for watching and join me again next time for some more motorbike fun.